Welcome to the Golden State, California, the land of Hollywood movie stars, Silicon Valley innovations, refreshing ocean breezes, and real estate with a median price tag confidently pushing toward $1 million. But wait, take a closer look at your screen. What do we have here? A full-size, detached, single-family home for just $200,000. The address is 433 Highland Avenue. For this absolute pocket change by California standards, you get a massive lot measuring over half an acre, a spacious 1,600 square foot house, 3 bedrooms, and, believe it or not, a whopping 3 bathrooms. Built back in 1960, it actually looks pretty decent in the photos and is seemingly move-in ready. No micro apartments, no homeowners association, HOA measuring the height of your lawn grass with a ruler or dictating what shade of beige your mailbox has to be. You get space, absolute freedom, and an actual piece of California real estate to your name. Sounds like a glitch in the Matrix or the ultimate financial luck of your life, right? It's only a 2-hour drive to Los Angeles. But before you run to smash your piggy bank and start packing your bags, let's take a very close look at the name of the city, Barstow. The infamous, rugged, and unforgivable Barstow, California. If you've ever driven from Los Angeles to Las Vegas in your life, you have almost certainly stopped here to quickly get gas, buy a terrible cup of gas station coffee, use the restroom, and get the heck out of there and back on the highway as fast as humanly possible. Barstow is located right in the dead center of the Mojave Desert. And we aren't talking about the pretty desert from a perfume commercial. That means during the summer, temperatures regularly, methodically, and brutally blast past 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 43 Celsius in the shade. Your air conditioning unit will be working so hard, howling at maximum capacity, that your monthly electricity bills will literally make you weep over your kitchen table. If you were dreaming of a gentle California ocean breeze, forget about it. Your breeze here will consist of scorching hot sand, dirt, and giant tumbleweeds flying directly into your windshield during the regular desert dust storms. But the extreme climate is only half of the local charm. Barstow is a gritty, blue-collar transit town with a massive train yard, a rich history, and, unfortunately, an equally rich crime map. The crime rate here is significantly higher than the California average. Historic Route 66 brought not only the retro romance of vintage motels to this town, but also some serious societal issues. Locals on community forums honestly and bluntly admit, during the day, it's perfectly fine. You can peacefully go to Walmart. But at night, you better keep your valuables locked down tight. Taking a romantic moonlight stroll through the streets is a type of extreme sport that we highly advise against. For $200,000, you aren't just buying a cute home in California. You are buying a 6-month pass to a free 24/7 outdoor sauna, the opportunity to test your home security system every single night, and the unique privilege of waving at millions of tourists as they speed past your town on their way to actual fun in Vegas. But hey, let's look at the bright side. You have 3 whole bathrooms. You can take an ice-cold shower in a different bathroom every time you start overheating, or whenever you just want to hide from the harsh reality of the Mojave Desert.
Let's move on. Are you still refusing to believe that you can buy a massive house with a huge plot of land in California for the price of a tiny studio apartment in a questionable neighborhood in Texas? Allow me to present our next line. 9086 Chickasaw Trail in the city of Lucerne Valley. The price tag is exactly $200,000, and the owner even recently slashed the price. For this money, you are getting a truly royal spread. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a whopping 1,900 square feet of living space, and a lot size of 1.25 acres. All of this in the state of California. On paper, it sounds like you just accidentally found a chest of pirate gold at a yard sale. Can you imagine yourself confidently strolling across your own sprawling estate? But let's carefully take off our rose-colored glasses and look at the map. Welcome to the high desert. Lucerne Valley is the place where standard civilization ends and the territory of rugged rangers, dedicated hermits, and lovers of absolute ringing silence begins. This is definitely not the California of palm trees, beaches, and surfers from MTV music videos. Your landscape here will consist of sand, rocks, dry scrub brush, and if you're really lucky, maybe a couple of Joshua trees. This house was built back in 1957, and it is currently listed as FSBO, for sale by owner. Do you know what for sale by owner often means in such remote, off-the-grid areas? It roughly translates to, I don't want to pay a real estate agent's commission, and I certainly don't want some city inspector with a flashlight crawling through my plumbing and telling me my wiring doesn't meet modern code. Chickasaw Trail itself is a dirt road, so get ready for your car to be permanently coated in a thick layer of fine desert dust. You'll probably give up on washing it after the first week. Living in Lucerne Valley on a 1.25-acre lot means you are entirely on your own. City water? Forget that word exists. You will probably be dealing with a private well. Or, even more fun, you might have to regularly rely on a hauled water delivery service. Internet access? Say hello to satellite internet with a ping rate that will let you send an email at roughly the same speed as a carrier pigeon. In the summer, it gets blisteringly hot, and during the winter nights, temperatures regularly drop below freezing, because remember, this is the high desert. Infrastructure? To get to the nearest decent supermarket, you will have to drive about half an hour. Your main neighbors out here won't be people, but wildlife. Tarantulas, scorpions, rattlesnakes, and coyotes who will gladly keep you company. However, let's be completely fair. If you are a level 80 introvert, if you are absolutely sick and tired of people, traffic jams, taxes, and city hustle, and your ultimate dream is to sit on your porch in a rocking chair at night, staring into the endless starry void, this is your absolute dream home. For 200 grand, you are buying maximum independence and a fortress, simply because you will be way too hard to find on Google Maps.
Let's leave the harsh desert behind and head up to Northern California. Welcome to Oroville in Butte County. This place is famous for its rich gold rush history, a massive picturesque lake, and the tallest dam in the United States, which famously almost failed in 2017, causing the evacuation of nearly 200,000 people. But let's not dwell on the negative. Right here at 54 Arbel Avenue awaits our next property. The price tag? That same magical number, $200,000. For this money, you get 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 919 square feet of living space, and nearly half an acre of land with total privacy and no neighbors staring into your windows. At first glance, this is an absolute steal. A classic California home surrounded by trees. But let's open the realtor's description and turn on our built-in translator from marketing speak to harsh reality. The listing proudly and affectionately states, "What a great opportunity for a person who wants to make this home their own." This fixer, even though it's a fixer, you could live here while improvements are made. Do you know what that actually means? A fixer-upper built in 1932 for $200K is not a fun weekend DIY project. It means that when you go to inspect it, you will need to bring not just your checkbook, but also a priest, a hard hat, and a fresh tetanus shot. The phrase, "you could live here while improvements are made," technically just means the house still has a roof that probably won't collapse on your head on the very first night. Inside, you are greeted by original wood paneling from the 1930s, window AC units, which will desperately and unsuccessfully battle the scorching California summer heat, and an old freestanding gas fireplace as your heating system. But the biggest catch isn't even the old plumbing or the 90-year-old wiring. We are in Butte County, in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. This is the absolute epicenter of California wildfires. Buying a cheap property here is only level 1 of the game. The real, hardcore boss fight is trying to get this house insured. Due to the massive fire risks, many insurance companies have simply fled the region entirely. The ones that are left, or the state's FAIR plan, will hand you a fire insurance premium so astronomically high that it could easily rival or even exceed your actual monthly mortgage payment. For 200 grand in Oroville, you aren't just buying a place to live. You are buying a second, unpaid full-time job as a general contractor, plumber, and carpenter all rolled into one. You do get a massive lot and a cellar, which will be absolutely perfect for storing your tears when you see the bills for construction materials. But let's be fair, after you sink another $150,000 into this house, lose all your nerves, and spend a couple of years of your life fixing it, you will have a charming, fully owned little nest in California. That is, of course, assuming the local power company PG&E doesn't shut off the electricity again because the wind blew too hard. Continuing our journey through the bargain bin of the Golden State,
Did you think it was impossible to find anything under $500,000 in Southern California, just a little over an hour's drive from Los Angeles? Hold on tight. Palmdale, California. The price tag is a laughable $110,000. For this amount, you are offered 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a solid 1,344 square feet of living space. That's literally twice the size of a micro apartment in Venice Beach that costs $1 million. In the description, the realtor generously sprinkles those classic buzzwords: great opportunity to add value, ideal for investors, and with a touch of TLC, you can transform this space. For those who don't speak fluent realtor, the acronym TLC, Tender Loving Care, usually translates to get ready to spend the next 6 months living at your local Home Depot, maxing out your credit cards on drywall, paint, and heavy sedatives. But let's grab a magnifying glass and look closely at the address. Do you see those modest little words, space 226? Congratulations, you just discovered the ultimate illusion of the California real estate market. You are looking at a manufactured mobile home built in 1983 sitting in a mobile home park. For $110,000, you are only buying the metal structure itself. You do not own the dirt underneath it, and that means every single month on top of your mortgage, which, by the way, is a total nightmare to secure for an older mobile home, you will be paying space rent for the patch of asphalt your house sits on. And guess what? That rent has a magical tendency to go up every single year. On top of that, the park management will act like a strict HOA, dictating everything from where you can park your car to what breed of dog you're allowed to own. The second surprise is the location itself. Palmdale is located in the Antelope Valley, deep in the high desert. If you actually work in Los Angeles, your life is about to become a daily survival marathon on the heavily congested Highway 14. Welcome to the world of California's famous super-commuters, people who spend 3 hours a day sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic, desperately listening to podcasts about how to avoid burnout. And if you think you can outsmart the system by taking the Metrolink commuter train, get ready to wake up before dawn and nap in a train car alongside thousands of other exhausted optimists. And let's talk about the weather. Palmdale is a place of absolute extremes. In the summer, it gets so incredibly hot that your 1980s mobile home will essentially turn into a giant convection oven. Your AC unit will be begging for mercy, and your electricity bills will blow a massive hole in your budget. And in the winter, you'll be knocked off your feet by freezing, howling desert winds that will literally make the thin walls of your trailer shake at night. For $110,000, you aren't getting a house. You are getting a season pass to an eternal traffic jam, a lifelong subscription to renting someone else's dirt, and your own personal extreme temperature theme park. But hey, at least you'll have 3 whole bedrooms to hide from the harsh desert reality.
Continuing our rapid descent to the absolute bottom of the California real estate market, we are dropping down to the $65,000 mark. Just think about that number for a second. Nowadays, for that kind of money, a car dealership will happily sell you a decently equipped midsize SUV. But why buy a new car when for the exact same price, you can become the proud owner of a home in the Golden State? Meet 8831 State Highway 70, Unit 17, in the city of Marysville. You are promised a cozy little nest, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a compact kitchen, and even a modest carport. Inside, judging by the photos, someone tried very hard to do a budget-friendly cosmetic flip to hide the solid age of the structure. But let's switch back into our realtor detective mode. Did you notice the words Unit 17 in the address? Yes, your intuition is spot on. We are back in a mobile home park. You are handing over $65,000 in cash or taking out a personal loan with a predatory interest rate for a metal box that used to have wheels. You do not own the dirt. You will be paying monthly lot rent, space rent, to the park owner for the rest of your natural life. But that's just the appetizer. Let's look closely at the street name, State Highway 70. You aren't just living near a road, you are living literally on the shoulder of a busy state highway. If you have always dreamed of falling asleep to the romantic roar of 18-wheelers engine braking and waking up to the blaring horns of speeding logging trucks, this is your personal acoustic paradise.
The thin aluminum walls of your trailer will vibrate in perfect harmony with every passing heavy-duty truck, meaning you get a free 24/7 full-body vibrational massage. Now, let's talk about the city itself. Marysville is a city with a rich history that proudly calls itself the gateway to the goldfields. But today, it's more like the gateway to extreme survival. Marysville is located in a valley and is completely surrounded by massive earthen levees. In the winter, when California gets hammered by its famous atmospheric rivers and torrential rains, you will spend your evenings nervously monitoring the water levels in the local rivers. Living here in the winter is an exciting game of Russian roulette. Will the levees, built back in the last century, hold up against the force of nature this time? And when summer arrives, oh, summer in Marysville. Welcome to a scorching oven where temperatures confidently sit above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The insulation in an older mobile home is roughly equivalent to that of a cardboard refrigerator box. Your window AC unit will be roaring like a jet turbine, just trying to cool the room down to tolerably hot. So for $65,000, you get highway vibrations, the constant threat of winter floods, brutal summer heat, and a monthly bill to rent a patch of asphalt. But on the bright side, the state capital, Sacramento, is only about an hour's drive away, assuming, of course, there's no traffic on your beloved Highway 70.
Fasten your seatbelts and put on your respirators, ladies and gentlemen. We are making a hard landing at the absolute rock bottom of the California real estate market. Only $42,500. For this amount, we are finally moving away from mobile home parks and getting a real, detached, single-family home with its own plot of land. No more renting a patch of asphalt. You are a full-fledged California landowner. You look at these numbers and think, where do I sign? But let me say one short word that will send a shiver down the spine of any Californian. Trona. Welcome to the official end-of-the-world simulator. Trona is an incredibly isolated mining town located right on the edge of Death Valley. If Hollywood needs to shoot a movie about a post-apocalyptic wasteland, Mars, or any other uninhabited planet, they come here. Literally, parts of Planet of the Apes and Star Trek were filmed nearby. The town sits on the edge of the dry Searles Lake, and the main, or rather the only economic engine here, is a massive chemical and mineral processing plant, and that plant runs 24 hours a day. What does that mean for you as a lucky homeowner? First of all, the smell. The air in Trona is saturated with a unique, unparalleled aroma of sulfur and processing chemicals, which the locals affectionately call the smell of money, while everyone else calls it the smell of rotten eggs. Secondly, the climate. During the summer, temperatures here regularly blast past 115 degrees Fahrenheit, about 46 Celsius. Just walking outside to check your mail in July is an act of extreme bravery, worthy of a medal. But let's get back to our house on Magnolia Avenue. For $42,500, you aren't just buying a standard fixer-upper, you are buying a mystery box. In 2019, this region was hit by a massive swarm of earthquakes that literally tore many foundations and roads in Trona to pieces. Many homes are still standing with cracks wide enough to stick your arm through. The town is filled with abandoned buildings, boarded-up windows, and empty streets. To get to the nearest Walmart or any semblance of modern civilization, you will have to drive about 40 minutes through the barren desert to the city of Ridgecrest. So why on earth would anyone buy a house in Trona? Well, look at it this way. If you are a sci-fi author who needs inspiration for a book about surviving a nuclear winter, if you are desperately hiding from aliens, or if you simply have absolutely no sense of smell and just want to own a house in California for the price of a used Toyota Camry, this is your golden ticket. You get absolute silence, a phenomenal starry sky at night, and the official status of the most hardcore real estate investor in the Wild West. Just don't forget to budget for a very, very good air conditioning unit, and possibly a hazmat suit.
Let's leave the cows, farms, and manure smells far behind us. Let's dust the desert sand off our shoes and head straight to the land of absolute luxury and impeccably green lawns. Welcome to the Coachella Valley, specifically the resort city of LaQuinta, a famous desert oasis for Hollywood stars, relaxed millionaires, and lovers of absurdly expensive golf. We open the Zillow app, set the price filter to under $100,000, just for laughs, and suddenly, bam, there she is. A gorgeous luxury villa located at 54125 West Residence Club Drive. You look at the stunning professional photos and simply cannot believe your eyes. A massive Spanish colonial-style home, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and over 2,800 square feet of absolutely flawless living space. Inside, you are greeted by expensive designer furniture, a private courtyard with your own swimming pool, a professional chef's kitchen, mesmerizing mountain views, and of course, exclusive access to a gated high-end golf club. And all of this magnificence is selling for a measly $100,000? In LaQuinta, where homes of this caliber easily range from $1.5 to $3 million. At this moment, you are probably ready to throw your wallet at the screen and scream, "I'll take it sight unseen. The realtor made a typo. I need to buy this right now." But wait. Slowly put your credit card down on the table and take a deep breath. Remember how we already talked about California real estate illusions? Well, this right here is the most brilliant, cunning, and deceptive one of them all. Welcome to the wonderful world of fractional ownership. Yes, from a strictly legal standpoint, you are buying real estate, but you are not buying the whole house. You are buying a 1/9 or similar fraction of this house. Essentially, what you are looking at is just a very expensive, incredibly beautifully packaged, high-end timeshare masquerading as a standard real estate listing. For your hard-earned $100,000, you receive the unique privilege to live in this breathtaking villa for a whopping few weeks out of the year. The rest of the time, the other proud owners will be searing steaks in your gourmet kitchen, and you'll be forced to fight them like a gladiator for the right to book the house for Christmas or during the famous Coachella Music Festival. But the ultimate financial pain awaits you in the monthly fees section. Did you think you bought a house for cash and now you don't owe anyone a dime? Think again. Owning a fraction in such an elite community, Residence Club, means you will be legally obligated to pay astronomical monthly homeowners association fees, club memberships, property taxes, and cleaning fees. These monthly charges can easily range from $1,500 to over $2,000 every single month. You could be paying $24,000 a year just in maintenance fees for a house you only visit once a season. For your $100,000 upfront payment, you are not buying a place to live. You are buying an incredibly expensive vacation subscription, a mountain of rules, and the bragging rights to casually drop at a dinner party. "Yeah, I own a villa down in LaQuinta." Just make sure you don't mention that you're only allowed to sleep there on random Tuesdays in November, and the rest of the time, your own home is occupied by strangers. It's a classic financial trap that looks like the deal of the century on paper, but in reality, it's a massive black hole for your wallet. Picture this. You are completely exhausted by city smog, soul-crushing traffic jams, and cunning timeshare scams. You want to escape civilization and buy a genuine cabin in the woods. You open Zillow and find an absolute fairy tale for a modest $100,000. 22 White River Road in California Hot Springs. A charming little cabin hidden away among giant sequoia trees, overlooking the beautiful babbling White River. A huge wooden front porch, a cozy fireplace inside. It is the ultimate introvert sanctuary. But let's pull out our magnifying glass and read the fine print in the listing. This cabin sits on Forest Service property. You will be purchasing the cabin and leasing the land. Ah, there it is. Another classic California trap. Did you think mobile home parks were bad? Welcome to renting dirt from the federal government. Buying a home on U.S. Forest Service land means you are diving headfirst into a bureaucratic nightmare. First of all, you are legally not allowed to live here full-time. The home has the status of a recreational residence, and the government will actually make you prove that you have a primary home somewhere else. Secondly, forget about passive income. Renting this cabin out on Airbnb or VRBO is strictly prohibited. Commercial activity in U.S. national forests is illegal. Thirdly, the Forest Service will control your every move. Think your HOA is evil? Try arguing with the U.S. government about what exact shade of brown you are allowed to paint your front door. You can't build fences, you can't have bright exterior lights, and you are mandated to maniacally clear 100 feet of brush around your cabin to prevent fires. And yes, banks hate these deals, so you better have $100,000 in cold hard cash for a house you don't even fully control. Now, let's look at the second address from our list, 687450 Magnolia Way in Susanville, Also $100,000, also a cute two-story cabin in the woods near a scenic lake. So what's wrong with this one? Let's read the realtor's painfully honest confession. The home was built by the owner without permits. Bingo! For 100 grand, you aren't just buying real estate, you are buying architectural contraband, a DIY bootleg shack. This means absolutely no city inspector has ever checked the wiring, the plumbing, or the foundation. On any given sunny day, a grumpy guy from the county code enforcement office could show up, slap a red tag on your front door and say, "Tear this down immediately at your own expense." No traditional bank will ever finance an illegal structure, and absolutely no insurance company will cover it for fire damage. If this cabin burns down, and remember, this is California, everything burns here, you will be left with a $100,000 pile of expensive ash. So the choice is yours. For $100,000 in the California mountains, you can either buy a cabin where you are forbidden to live full-time and can't rent it out, or you can buy an illegal DIY shack that could collapse on your head or get demolished by court order. Which one are you picking?
Picture this. You are completely exhausted by city smog, soul-crushing traffic jams, and cunning timeshare scams. You want to escape civilization and buy a genuine cabin in the woods. You open Zillow and find an absolute fairy tale for a modest $100,000. 22 White River Road in California Hot Springs. A charming little cabin hidden away among giant sequoia trees, overlooking the beautiful, babbling White River. A huge wooden front porch, a cozy fireplace inside. It is the ultimate introvert sanctuary. But let's pull out our magnifying glass and read the fine print in the listing. This cabin sits on Forest Service property. You will be purchasing the cabin and leasing the land. Ah, there it is, another classic California trap. Did you think mobile home parks were bad? Welcome to renting dirt from the federal government. Buying a home on U.S. Forest Service land means you are diving headfirst into a bureaucratic nightmare. First of all, you are legally not allowed to live here full-time. The home has the status of a recreational residence, and the government will actually make you prove that you have a primary home somewhere else. Secondly, forget about passive income. Renting this cabin out on Airbnb or VRBO is strictly prohibited. Commercial activity in U.S. national forests is illegal. Thirdly, the Forest Service will control your every move. Think your HOA is evil? Try arguing with the U.S. government about what exact shade of brown you are allowed to paint your front door. You can't build fences, you can't have bright exterior lights, and you are mandated to maniacally clear 100 feet of brush around your cabin to prevent fires. And yes, banks hate these deals, so you better have $100,000 in cold hard cash for a house you don't even fully control. Now let's look at the second address from our list. 687-450 Magnolia Way in Susanville. Also $100,000. Also a cute two-story cabin in the woods near a scenic lake. So what's wrong with this one? Let's read the realtor's painfully honest confession. The home was built by the owner without permits. Bingo! For 100 grand, you aren't just buying real estate, you are buying architectural contraband, a DIY bootleg shack. This means absolutely no city inspector has ever checked the wiring, the plumbing, or the foundation. On any given sunny day, a grumpy guy from the county code enforcement office could show up, slap a red tag on your front door, and say, "Tear this down immediately at your own expense." No traditional bank will ever finance an illegal structure, and absolutely no insurance company will cover it for fire damage. If this cabin burns down, and remember, this is California, everything burns here, you will be left with a $100,000 pile of expensive ash. So, the choice is yours. For $100,000 in the California mountains, you can either buy a cabin where you are forbidden to live full-time and can't rent it out, or you can buy an illegal DIY shack that could collapse on your head or get demolished by court order. Which one are you picking?
All right, you say. Enough with the government land traps and illegal DIY shacks. I want a real house on real land with real permits, and I still only have 100 grand. Fine, I hear you. Let's head way up north to the rugged, snowy lumberjack town of Bernie, California. Look at this listing, 21722 3rd Street. For exactly $107,000, you can become the proud owner of a legitimate, legally recognized house. It has an address, it has walls, it has a roof, and most importantly, you actually own the dirt underneath it. It sounds like the ultimate real estate steal, right? But once again, let's put on our detective glasses and translate the realtor's poetry into plain English. The listing screams, investor special, great potential, bring your tool belt, sold strictly as is.
Oh, sold as is, the three most terrifying words in the English language. When a realtor tells you to bring your tool belt, they don't mean you need to tighten a few loose hinges on a kitchen cabinet. They mean you need to bring an excavator, a hazmat suit, and an exorcist. For $107,000, you are not buying a home. You are buying a 1,000 square foot biohazard and a part-time job as a general contractor. Let's look closely at the photos. The carpets look like they've absorbed decades of mysterious fluids. The roof is sagging like a sad trampoline. And the plumbing? It's probably entirely made of rusted galvanized pipes from the Eisenhower administration, just waiting to burst the moment you turn on the shower. And here is the ultimate punchline: cash only or hard money loans. Why? Because no traditional, sane bank on planet Earth will ever give you a mortgage for this house. Bank appraisers take one look at the cracked foundation, the black mold creeping up the drywall, and the exposed electrical wiring that looks like a rat's nest, and they run away screaming. So, let's do the math. You hand over $107,000 in cold, hard cash just to get the keys. Then, you will immediately need to sink another $80,000 into a new roof, rewiring, plumbing, and making it barely habitable. Suddenly, your cheap dream home in the woods is a $200,000 money pit in a town where it snows 3 feet in the winter. So, pick your poison, my friends. Do you rent dirt from the federal government with a million rules? Do you buy an illegal shack that code enforcement will bulldoze? Or do you drop $100K in cash on a dilapidated zombie house that will drain your bank account dry? If you want to see more brutally honest breakdowns of the wildest real estate taps on the market, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like to appease the YouTube algorithm, and let me know in the comments, which of these 3 nightmares would you actually choose? See you in the next one.